Hello, this is Agbe Ben Ipao. This is book one of my experiences on planet Earth and beyond. Book one, a glimpse of who we are. Acknowledgements to all those souls in this dimension and beyond who are helping to raise the consciousness of our world. To my father's unfaltering love. To Mother Earth and Mother Ayahuasca for their spiritual healing. To Marlene Moss for some of the editing of this book, and for her encouragements to go all the way, and not to hold back. And foremost, to my brother Esevi for his tenacious, incredible, mind-boggling love, and for his unrelenting dedication to keep me alive to see my life's mission through. I thank you from the purest part of my soul. Table of Contents, Acknowledgements, Chapter 1, Immortality, Chapter 2, My Childhood, Chapter 3, Life in America, Chapter 4, Fall into Darkness, Chapter 5, Emefa, Chapter 6, A Visit from My Father, Chapter 7, 4-month combat with interdimensional entities, Chapter 8, An Eternal Promise, Chapter 9, In Search of a Spiritual Cure, Chapter 10, A Glimpse of the Global Slave System. Chapter 1, Immortality. Today is August 11, 2010. I'm in bed. It has taken me nearly a year to make up my mind about writing this story. I have hesitated in doing so for various banal reasons. However, on this auspicious day, my decision to put pen to paper is now absolute. I will be brave and share my spiritual experiences with you, reader. So often I have asked myself the question, who am I? How and why do I exist? And have not been satisfied with trite, mundane answers. For the most part, I have brushed aside, for the majority of my life, answers that involve what my limited five senses could not perceive. But alas, I understand now that there are no accidents in this world or the next, all the way to the lightest part of infinity. There are only probabilities of occurrences, and if we should listen to the purity within, we will discover what the vast majority of us have forgotten, the essence of our true light self, that we exist now and will always exist. No exception, no debate about it. How we exist is another story. It is therefore a huge mistake, a complete, utter insanity to believe even for a fraction of a second that this solid physical world is all there is. We are not biological beings. When we buy into this pointless, limited, and foolish view of infinite possibility of existence, then we limit ourselves of what is naturally a part of us. When this happens, then we not only give our power and positive energy away to what I call negative forces, but imprison our light selves deep inside our physical, solid bodies with fear, confusion of what we really are beyond time, space, and all that is naturally and literally part of the undying ensemble with the capital E. There is an immortal love within and beyond this physical dimension, and it cannot die. Like it or not, believe it or not, it is not a gift. It cannot die. It cannot be quote-unquote created. It can only have positive or negative experiences in each level of consciousness. Suffering is the worst thing that can happen to a soul residing and interfacing with the condensed solid body. Death of the physical body is merely a separation of the heavy vehicle from the infinitely light body or the soul. Most light beings enter this consciousness initially more aware. With the passing of time, constant societal, worldly, and interdimensional manipulations and assaults, and what we feed our physical bodies and minds, our soul's global awareness diminishes. However, a piece of infinity cannot be fooled forever. Sooner or later, the dormant piece of God within the solid body must be awakened. As I put pen to paper, I can only imagine the possible ridicule that lies ahead by those whose souls are deeply asleep within their human bodies. Unfortunately, we live in a world where the insane person thinks the sane person is crazy simply because the former is unaware. No matter how smart or educated a person is, he or she can still be very unaware of his or her true nature of existence. In fact, it seems to me that the more formally indoctrinated a person is, let me repeat that. In fact, it seems to me that the more formally indoctrinated a person is, the more likely it is that his or her soul exists in a dormant state. This is because formal education at all levels, as it is now, has been set up to worship the intellect, which is the mind. As a person becomes more and more indoctrinated through the process of a mostly false religion we call science, the awareness of his or her true light self becomes more inhibited or blocked. And I absolutely know now that this is no accident. I write to be brave, to be free, to seek freedom beyond this physical world. I'm trying to be brave because for so long I have lived in fear of what lies ahead after the death of the physical body, in fear of going against established traditions, cultures, religions, and science. But mostly, I must say that I have lived in fear of what others might say or think. Perchance they would think that I am different, weird, or even, quote-unquote, have lost my marbles. But I am trying to surpass all that in order to get in touch with the inner core of that part of us that is not afraid, that is beautiful, infinite, and that embraces pure love, the luminosity of infinity. And so, I am pushing aside all these obstacles to describe pure beauty that goes to infinity. I am also writing for those across the world who are practicing negativity either physically or through the use of the dark arts. There is no neutrality about using black magic to hurt your fellow soulmates. None. Governments across the world, stop creating negative energy by sending our young men and women to fight in wars under the pretext of serving your countries. Negativity is literally harmful for you. In the very long term, you cannot and will not get away with any such things, even if it takes 5 or 10,000 years. Whether you like it or not, believe me or not, you are eternal, and your soul cannot die despite how many people you hurt or kill. You can only suffer, and suffer you will if you do not stop such practices. And when you eventually begin to suffer beyond your wildest imagination, you will see that there are worse things in the universe than physical death. When this happens, do not blame God. It was not infinity's fault. It was your fault for not listening to your intuition and for not having taken the time to consider and research the basic questions of existence outside of what is considered the norm. It was your fault for not listening to the literal peace of God within your physical vehicle. This is one of the ultimate lessons to be relearned. Obey the purity within yourself that is pushing you to reach the most high, the most positive, no matter the obstacles or fears. If you can do that, what awaits you in each dimension of consciousness is beyond the human imagination. A million Superman put together has absolutely nothing on one soul, one light being. Superman's superhuman powers are extremely primitive compared to the literal weapons inside each individual soul. In fact, I would become aware within a short span of time after awakening that such abilities and or powers are possible only through unconditional love, which literally shields us from all forms of destructions, including physical murders and assassinations. No quote-unquote regular or famous person ever needs to die or be assassinated. Unconditional love literally makes us invincible, physically and spiritually, in any realm once we accept its path. This is not an easy story for me to write. Despite this difficulty, I feel my inner essence pushing me on to accomplish the task. I feel my strength increasing each day. And despite whatever negativity some of my fellow soulmates may have in store for me, either via ridicule or categorization or black magic, as I have recently physically witnessed, I will dispense waves of positive energy toward them. I will be strong, light, and resist some of the dimly aware person's theories and rationalizations of me and themselves. Yes, too many people do this. Too many people are forever limiting themselves. This I will no longer overlook or accept because it creates intangible negative energy and holds us in a state of slavery. Having had a glimpse of my soul is not a result of being black, American, African, a male, a Catholic, or any other mundane or superficial reasons some people may make up to brush aside my experiences. To do justice to my superhero's courage and unconditional love, I must commence the story from my childhood. Perhaps even more importantly, I must share with you, reader, my strengths and weaknesses, my thoughts and reflections, even the emotions that I experienced while writing this book. And if I can do all this, then I am already brave. Pure love transcends all ephemeral things.